Okay, so first of all, I'd like to thank you all for signing up for today's webinar, and I hope you come away with having understood exactly what makes Jerez la Frontera here in southern Spain such an interesting destination for anybody wishing to practice and improve their Spanish language skills. Jerez is a town that's retained its traditional character and way of life, which is exactly what certain clients are looking for these days, as really, as you know, Spanish is not just a language. And today we'll be looking at various aspects of the city. My name is Jerry Rylance. I'm director and founder of the language school Tenidiomas, and I'm here sitting with Anna, our marketing manager, to give you as much information possible about the school. The idea behind this webinar is to create awareness of the town of Jerez la Frontera as an ideal destination to come and study Spanish. As logically, it's not possible for all of you agents to come and visit us here in Jerez. And also it's quite difficult for all of us to coincide at the different fairs and workshops. Briefly, I'll be explaining exactly where we are. Then I'll go on to describe the facilities at the school, and I'll outline our range of Spanish language courses. I'll also give some examples of our English language courses. And finally, you'll be able to ask us any questions that may arise from the talk itself. Now, I'm sure many of you actually have looked at where Jerez is, exactly what is our location. But here, anyway, is a visual map to see exactly where we are. The town of Jerez la Frontera is located in the province of Cádiz, which is in the very south of Spain, in the region of Andalusia, making it ideal for those who wish to take advantage of a climate where today, for example, it's December and we have sunny skies and temperatures in the low 20s, ideal for sitting out in the sunshine, having a glass of sherry and enjoying the local atmosphere. As far as connections are concerned, Jerez does have its own international airport, and also it has regular flight connections to Madrid, and is just a 60-minute drive from the airports at Seville or Gibraltar, and only 2.5 hours by coach from Malaga. Also, there are direct train connections to Madrid and, of course, to Seville. Jerez in itself is a very comfortable city to visit, as the school is located in the very heart of the historical old city. And so there's no need for students to rely upon public transport to get from host families to the school, as the majority are within walking distance. Jerez neither has the dangers related to the larger capital cities, as it is quite compact and relatively safe in many, many ways. Local attractions, of course, include flamenco. Jerez is known worldwide for its flamenco song, guitar, and dance. And local performers travel the globe, and amateurs and professionals alike come to Jerez during the International Flamenco Festival to see the major artists and attend masterclass sessions. There are also the typical Tabanco flamenco taverns and peñas, and also bars in the city centre, where people can witness flamenco in a spontaneous nature, meaning that visitors don't have to pay to attend flamenco shows organized specifically for tourists. As far as location are concerned, many group leaders tell us that they consider Jerez ideal for short-stay study holiday programs, given that taking as a base, it's possible from Jerez to visit so many different places without having to spend a night anywhere. Located halfway between the Atlantic coast and the Sierra Mountains, this means that we have easy access to the towns of Cádiz, Seville, Córdoba, and Ronda, but have managed to escape the mass international tourism of these places. Groups are therefore able to visit and see the historic sites of Andalusia, then return back to Jerez and its more authentic Spanish atmosphere. Tradition has an important part to play in local life. Perhaps what attracted me personally to Jerez and made me make it my home is that it still manages to retain its truly authentic Spanish atmosphere and style, along with the traditions so clearly maintained during our Easter week processions at Semana Santa, the horse fair in May, or the Grape Harvest Festival in September. Neither must we forget that the very name of the town, Jerez, is in fact the Spanish word for sherry, the local wine that can only be produced here in the region, and our students all enjoy visits to local sherry and brandy wineries as part of their stay. Jerez is also home to the Spanish Arabian breed of horses, and there are performances twice a week at the Royal Andalusian Spanish Riding School, which is quite spectacular. For those interested in sport, Jerez has 2 golf courses, and its racing circuit is home each year to the Spanish Motorcycle Grand Prix. As far as gastronomy goes, of course, Andalusia is home to the Spanish tapa, and Jerez is no exception, with many tapas bars and Tabanco sherry bars to be found in cobblestone squares of the city centre, where locals and visitors take advantage of our sunny climate to sit outside, sipping sherry and tasting a range of delicious tapas. And one of Jerez restaurants also boasts a Michelin star for those who are looking for a different kind of gastronomic experience. So all in all, Jerez and a visit to Jerez is really a full immersion. As mentioned before, Jerez is a city that has managed to escape the international tourism of the coast, meaning that visitors are not surrounded by flocks of tourists, English speakers, and actually need to make use of their spoken Spanish in order to eat, go shopping, or communicate with their host families. Here are some images of, just to give you an idea of what Jerez looks like and the different possibilities that we have to offer. I've mentioned the horses at the local Spanish riding school, the Cathedral of Jerez, based upon the foundations of the old mosque. Students can visit one of the local sherry wineries to see where sherries and brandies are produced and attend tasting sessions. The town itself is surrounded logically by the picturesque vineyards, and as mentioned before, flamenco is regularly performed not only at the theatre, but also in Peña flamenco clubs, bars and taverns. Historic monuments also include the 12th century Alcázar Moorish fortress and the old mosque. And now the school itself. I founded the school over 30 years ago in 1984, initially to teach English to local students, and some years later I began to be contacted by schools from the UK, including Eton College and Harrow School, asking me to organise Spanish language and homestay courses for their students, thus providing the beginnings of our Spanish language department. The current is in what used to be a printing works on the ground floor and a local radio station on the floor above, now converted into comfortable modern teaching facilities. We have 13 classrooms spread over 2 floors, all fully air-conditioned and equipped with smart boards. Just 2 steps from the Plaza San Andres, we are located in the heart of the old city and surrounded by cafes, bars, and the local shopping area. If you visit our website, 3ws10spanish.com, and click on the 360-degree link, you can go on a virtual tour of our facilities. And we can also, of course, send you a copy of this presentation if you wish. As far as accreditations are concerned, the school continues to offer English language tuition to local Spanish students, as well as CELTA teacher training courses, and we are therefore a Cambridge Assessment English Platinum Teaching Awards and Examination Centre for the whole province of Cadiz, one of only 3 in all Andalusia. It was my daughter Carlota, who perhaps some of you have met in her role as president of Español in Andalucía, the Association of Andalusian Spanish Language Schools, who's been the driving force behind expanding our Spanish language department, allowing us to become an accredited centre of the Instituto Cervantes and examination centre for their DELE and CELE exams, as well as being the only Spanish language school to belong to the Rutas del Vino de España, with our Spanish, the language of sherry course. And now to look a little bit at the courses that we do offer. We have our general Spanish courses, either extensive, semi-intensive, intensive or one-to-one. All our teaching Spanish staff are with us year-round and are experienced, qualified and trained Cervantes examiners. These standard general courses have options of 7.5, 15 or 30 hours tuition a week. We also have one-to-one options and a long-term resident course with lessons twice per week. We organise individual and group courses for adults, including the 50-plus market, university students and school groups. Our specific courses include Spanish with flamenco, Spanish with horse riding, Spanish with sherry, and Spanish for the world of work, which would include letter writing, interviews, presentations, emails, telephone Spanish, etc. We also provide LA teacher training with gamification and materials production for teachers. With exam preparation, as mentioned before, we are an Instituto Cervantes Delhi and Cili Examination Center, and we organize specific courses to obtain these accreditations. We also prepare international pilots who need to obtain the ICAO, the International Civil Aviation Organization Certificate in Aviation Spanish, a necessary requirement to work for airlines here in Spain. Accommodation, well, students can choose to stay at hotels, hostels, rental apartments, or with one of our carefully selected host families. Given that Jerez is not a city with lots of language schools, all seeking to find accommodation for their students, this means that we have no difficulty in sourcing host families who are known to us and are rated by students after each visit. Maite, our accommodation manager, maintains personal contact and visits the families on a regular basis. As far as activities are concerned, after-class activities include workshops and visits, such as how to prepare local tapas following the local recipes, Sevillana dance classes, or sessions with learning how to tocar las palmas, visits to wineries, of course, as mentioned previously, walking tours of the city with a professional guide, sherry tasting masterclass, of course, so that people can get to learn the secrets and the vocabulary connected with the sherry business. And of course, external visits to vineyards, a honeybee farm, and also a fighting bull farm. With the general courses here, we can see how our students study in the modern facilities that we do have here at the school with our general courses. With the more specific courses, then we have as mentioned, the sherry tasting, the Sevillana dancing, and also the Tocar las Palmas classes, which is of course quite important if you're getting involved in the flamenco scene. Teacher training. As you know, as a teacher training center, we attract Spanish language teachers from around the world to have specific workshops dealing with different characteristics of how to teach Spanish as a foreign language, including the gamification course, which is quite popular, and also a course on how to produce materials to help teachers in the classroom. Group courses, of course, include activities in the afternoons and visits, cultural visits, visits to other towns around Jerez de la Frontera, and also walking tours of the city itself. As far as English language goes, to also inform you that we do offer English language courses at all levels. We offer 3-month Cambridge premium courses, 4-week summer intensive courses in July and August, and teacher training to attain the Cambridge TKT and CELTA qualifications. We're a Cambridge examination centre, and all our teachers are native speakers and fully qualified. This means that we've also started to offer, as demand seems to be increasing, a combination of English plus Spanish courses, a growing market as teaching costs in the UK continue to rise, and of course Brexit looms. These courses offer students the chance to combine Spanish language tuition with a 4-week English course, enabling them to sit a Cambridge B1 preliminary, B2 first, C1 advanced, or Cambridge lingua skill examination upon completing their stay. Plus 1.5 hours of Spanish with 3 hours English each day from Monday to Friday. Spanish students at the end of the course can also opt to sit the Cervantes Cili exam and thus obtain a double accreditation. So, in order to conclude, this has been a general description of Jerez and our Spanish language courses that you can also see in great detail on our 10 Spanish website, Facebook and Twitter accounts. Anna, our marketing manager, will be attending the Alfe Malaga in the new year. We'll be delighted to meet up with you if you will also be there. Thank you very much indeed for attending.